We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there. But then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexi Hull...
So imagine this. You're watching a game, everyone's eyes are on the stars who are missing, but there's this moment. An elbow, a bloodied face, and then revenge. That's what Lexi Hull just delivered against Kayla McBride in the Fever's big win over the Lynx. More than just a play, it was symbol, redemption, grit, identity. By the time the final buzzer sounded 83-72, Indiana didn't just close out the regular season, they made a statement.
Final score, Fever 83, Lynx 72. Indiana ends the regular season with an exclamation point. Fever have won 3 in a row as they enter the play.
Despite catastrophic losses in the rotation, Caitlin Clark out with a season-ending injury, Sophie Cunningham MCL, Sydney Colson ACL, Chloe Bibby out, a Ariel McDonald's foot. This team refused to collapse. It's wild how so much of a season can hang on health. We saw preseason hopes get clipped, lineups go from 10 deep to paper thin.
I know a lot of people will talk about Nafisa not playing, but I think they're really good without her. You know, they're just a really great basketball team. So I think it was a big win for us because they set the bar high standard wise. We know what to expect when it comes to Minnesota Lynx, and so I think going into the playoffs, it was big for us because being able to know guarding Courtney Williams, knowing that her thing is a pull-up, knowing that now instead of not knowing that, it's big for us because we give ourselves a chance, and if they are the standard, we get to see where we are.
Fans wondered, how do you survive this? This was survival mode, a test. And yet, instead of folding, the Fever leaned in. Caitlin Clark's absence was more than just a missing scoring engine. It was emotional. She's not just stats and hype, she's identity. When they announced her season was over, it felt like a punch for the roster, for the fan base, for every Fever jersey out there. But sometimes identity is built in the void, not just when the star is shining.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been impressed with these guys since even the offseason, really, the ones that I was able to work out with in the offseason, is how hard they work. There's a work ethic and there's a work style. And to approach everything in the same way, to be so energetic, enthusiastic, and dedicated every day. And I felt that way in training camp too. There weren't any days where I had to bring that out of them. So I think it's the nature of the women that we brought into this organization to continue to just bust their butts and play hard.
So who stepped up? Who carried the torch when it felt like it might go dark? Kelsey Mitchell. She didn't just raise her scoring average. She raised the team's expectation. She became the focal point, the go-to. Every time defenses doubled her, every time the scout report screamed she'd be stopped, she found a counter. Then there's Aaliyah Boston, steady, powerful, resilient. When lineups turned into puzzles, she held the middle. Board by board, bucket by bucket. She made sure possessions counted. She made sure defense stood tall. When your roster is bleeding out, anchors solve a lot of problems. But let's rewind to that Lexi Hull moment. Last time the Lynx played Indiana, McBride elbows Hull. Face. Fans remember, it looks dirty. Pain and outrage.
Before the playoffs start Sunday tonight, it's regular season game 44 of 44 for the Fever as they host the WNBA's best team in 2025, the Minnesota Lynx.
When refs called a technical on Hull instead of McBride, the crowd seethed. The highlight reels missed that moment, but Lexi did not. And in this latest showdown, retribution, justice, whatever you want to call it. She didn't just play, she answered. That answer was personal and public. And when she crossed over McBride, shook free, and made that defender pay, it wasn't just points, it was healing. That play became the microcosm of their season. All the injuries, all the moments fans thought they'd slip. That 10-0 run to start the Lynx game wasn't just about offense, it was assertion. We're here. Even missing pieces. Even when people counted us out, fans felt it. The building was electric. Momentum shifted every time someone unexpected made a play. Odyssey Sims off the bench, Ariel powers from deep, Natasha Howard with her presence in paint and pressure.
And it mattered because it came against a team nobody thought Indiana could handle at this stage.
It'll be Alana Smith jumping it up against Aaliyah Boston. The ball is tipped, and it's time to hoop at Indy.
A 10-0 run to start this game for Indiana, and Minnesota wants a timeout.
Powers up top, tees it up, three. It's good! Energy!
Kicks it out, Powers. You bet! Back-to-back threes from Ariel Powers.
The Fever double up the Lynx in the first quarter. It's Indiana 28, Minnesota 14.
Bench energy became a heartbeat. The kind you feel not just in the stands, but in the feed, in the chatter. Now let's talk milestones. Indiana hit 24 wins this season. That's a record. First winning record since 2015, back over .500. Playoffs, locked in back-to-back years for the first time since the mid-2010s. That's not nostalgia, that's culture shift. And yes, Clark was out. But you know what happened? People didn't stop paying attention. They leaned in. The Fever had built something that could survive missing its brightest star. They redefined dependence by being resilient. They locked in as the 6th seed in the 2025 WNBA Playoffs. First round versus the Dream.
Indiana is 4 for 4 from three-point range. Mitchell connects on a three. Sims leaning jumper is good.
Kelsey driving left, puts it in off the backboard.
Will to it for the first half. Indiana shoots 58% from the floor.
Now seeds matter, but more than seed is belief. When your team is tested and still stands, that belief counts for double in the postseason. Let's break down some game moments. In that Minnesota game, Indiana came out firing, 10-0, 4 for 4 from 3 early. Connects, cuts, rotations, all sharp. They didn't just play the Lynx, they dictated pace, forced their rhythm. Lynx had been riding high all season, title contenders on paper. But Indiana played like they were starving. The crowd, loud, responsive, electric. Those early threes by Powers, the burst by Sims, the presence of Hull on defense, all signs they weren't just surviving. Their bench looked deeper than people thought. Each miss by Minnesota seemed to reinforce it. Then stats show this. Indiana ended 24-20, over .500, first time since 2015. They set franchise records, they clinched playoffs despite injuries that would bury most teams. Despite the roster chaos, that tells you something. This is more than luck, it's character. Clark might have been in street clothes, healed or healing, but she was there. Not just as a star, but as a leader. Sideline commands, timeout signals. The vibe felt different when she wasn't playing, but still present. That matters for identity. Teams don't just need a scorer, they need a soul. What about nerves? Twins of doubt? They had to be there. When title shots slip, when references are everywhere saying, "How much without your star?" you have two options, crumble or prove. The Fever chose prove. The Minnesota regular season finale wasn't a tune-up. It was validation. Showed the league, the Fever belong, even if they are missing stars, even if you believed otherwise.
Here's Mitchell. I think that's a 2. Doesn't go. And now it's McBride getting Hull.
That one might be a problem.
Indiana just taking shots to the face.
Lexi's revenge crossed into spiritual territory, not just physical. She didn't shy away from McBride. She took the moment. Fans saw it. Social blew up. Everyone who's tweeted about bad calls, unfair whistle moments, they had a highlight they could rally around. Because justice in sports is rare. Redemption is rarer. And when Hall crossed over McBride, balance tipped. Less scoreboard, more soul. Now, no win is perfect. Fourth quarter lapses cost them in other games. Rotations thin, energy dips, but more games than many expect they showed up. To possessions, to boards, to hustle, to defense that forced tough shots, to missed threes that became extra rebound fights. That's how you build trust. With teammates, with fans, with belief. Let's also give some shine to Natasha Howard, Odyssey Sims, Powers, Hull, Boston. This wasn't a one-woman thing. When Boston kept the paint busy, Howard switched on defense. Sims created offense when perimeter shots weren't open. These are the moments that kept the lights on. Kelsey Mitchell? She should be MVP discussed. Averaged over 20 points per game through this season while being the target. Because strategy books called her name every time. Because defenses tried shutting her down. And she still found a way. That kind of consistency when everything's falling apart, it's leadership. Injuries might be part of the story, but they didn't write the ending. So now playoffs are here. Home court atmosphere is going to matter. Fans are going to matter. Momentum is a real thing. And Indiana isn't going in soft. Lexi Hull's moment is the headline clip, viral, emotional healing. But it's also a bridge between what could have been and what is becoming. What started as a season of what-ifs turned into something much stronger. Proof that a culture reset has been built. So yeah, lean into that in the comments. Who had the better moment? The Hull-McBride crossover, or Boston's inside dominance, or Mitchell's scoring barrage? All of those count, because this isn't just one highlight. It's a season highlight, and it's bigger than one game. It's about identity, grit, and refusing to vanish when the book says you should. The Fever aren't looking for sympathy. They're looking for respect. Playoffs upcoming, seed locked, energy hot. The stage is theirs. And mark this. When Caitlin returns, she walks into a room that's battle-tested, belief-heavy, and ready to take what's theirs. If you're hyped for this run, comment Fever Fired Up below. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who believed even when they doubted. Because this one's for the underdog punch. Hoopless, let's go.